Hey, this is Larkin Rose. It's December 12th, 2012, 12/12/12. And I just got a second confirmation that apparently the local sheriff's office and presumably more local cops too have me marked as some psycho who might just start randomly killing cops or something. I don't have all the details. I don't even want to say how I found out about it. It was sort of a weird coincidence and don't want to get anybody in trouble. But because of this silliness, I decided to write a letter, and I want to publicize this letter. If I ever get a response, I will publicize that too. It's a letter to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department in Pennsylvania. It seems like every state has a Montgomery County, but this is Pennsylvania. And I'm just going to read the letter so it's on the record so you can see what I said, and we'll see if anything comes from it. Again, I'll post any response they give, or I'll publicize the fact that they don't respond if that's what they choose to do. So, this is Montgomery County Sheriff's Department. Dear Sirs, it doesn't surprise me to learn that the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department, and presumably other levels of local law enforcement, have me marked as some dangerous person who might just start shooting cops at the drop of a hat. No doubt this is the result of second or third-hand rumors combined with intellectual laziness and dishonesty on the part of some people. The origin of this concern is, no doubt, various aspects of the political and philosophical speech I engage in, and in particular my article from a few years back and the subsequent video, which was released recently, entitled When Should You Shoot a Cop? Obviously, the title was meant to get people's attention, which it did, but as the article predicted would happen, many people never make it past the title, instead jumping to whatever emotional conclusions they want, based on preconceived notions and assumptions, almost all of them false. The purpose of this letter is twofold. First, to anyone in law enforcement who is concerned about what I might be capable of, I would encourage you to actually read or watch what I produce, rather than guessing and imagining things. I'm perfectly open and honest about what I believe. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. Contrary to the silly accusations of various intellectually lazy or irresponsible people, some of whom are police officers, I don't advocate killing all cops and I don't advocate revolution. I do, however, discuss the taboo philosophical topic of when legal aggression becomes so egregious that people have the moral right to forcibly defend themselves from attacks and oppressions done in the name of law. Though for practical reasons, I suggest that even then, it's usually a bad idea. If rumor and gossip has led some in law enforcement to imagine me to be some dangerous, trigger-happy psycho, I would encourage those people to take the time to find out what I actually say, instead of blindly accepting how someone else chooses to mischaracterize what I say. Second, I want to invite someone at the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department, one or more people of your choosing, to a public debate to make this an open, honest discussion instead of a he said, she said paranoid rumor fest. I have often said and firmly believe that most people who enter the field of law enforcement do so with good intentions, in the hopes of making society better, protecting the innocent from the malicious, and so on. However, I also know that the very job of law enforcement often takes those good intentions and noble motives and warps them, with the result being that more aggression, assault, and robbery has been committed in the name of law than has been committed in spite of law. In short, throughout most of the world, throughout most of history, people have become enforcers of government, hoping to accomplish good, and usually accomplished great evil instead. Truth and justice are never served by silence, whispered rumors, or intellectual dishonesty. Obviously, I have fundamental philosophical disagreements with the usual views of most in law enforcement. Thousands upon thousands of others have come to believe as I do on these subjects. I believe that the most irresponsible, stupid, dangerous thing either side can do in such a situation is to shut off communication, hunker down, and prepare for battle. Instead, I propose we make this discussion public, open, and honest. No need for innuendo and rumor, assumptions, and suspicions on either side. So I hereby invite your sheriff's department, at the time and place of your choosing, to a public discussion about this, which I will publicly post at my own expense, unedited and in its entirety, on YouTube and on my own website. And just so you know that you're not just wasting time on some unknown random blogger, I would mention that my YouTube channel has had over 700,000 video views, many thousands of copies of my books are in circulation, and my articles and radio interviews have been read and heard by millions of people around the world. If you want a chance to publicly respond to what I say, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Ask me whatever you want and say whatever you want, and I will see to it that your message, as well as mine, reaches as many people as possible. If you are amenable to the idea, name the time and place, open to the public, and I will be there. Sincerely, Larkin Rose. And there's a P.S. This invitation will be publicized, as will your response or lack of response to it. So there you have it. I'm sure they have their little memos, and we've seen them show up over and over again in different states and different places of, oh my gosh, look how scary this is. And almost always it demonstrates that they didn't even bother to read the article or watch the video or understand what they're dealing with. So they just sort of imagine that I'm some dangerous psycho, just can't wait to go around killing people, which is just silly and ridiculous. But that's kind of how this thing usually works, by rumor and innuendo. And so hopefully they'll actually respond and we can have an open discussion, because I actually think that talking to state mercenaries is one of the most important things we can do. Because if they can be made to see that some of what they do is totally immoral and against civilization and order and justice, if they choose to stop doing it, that's a whole lot easier than, having a violent conflict between state oppressors and their intended victims. So I'm all for talk. Let's see if they're all for talk. And I will quickly post any response they give, or I'll keep pointing out that they haven't responded. So that's all for now.